For the first time in 4 years, I laughed. Not a polite smile, not a nervous chuckle, a real, genuine laugh that came from somewhere I thought had died. I met Ryan at a charity gala when I was 29. I was there working, managing the social media for the event. He was there writing checks. Our worlds shouldn't have collided, but they did, right next to the champagne fountain. He was everything I wasn't. Old money, Ivy League, a corner office at 35 with his last name already on the building. Me? I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment in Queens, put myself through CUNY, and built my career one Instagram post at a time. When he asked for my number, I actually looked behind me to see who he was talking to. The first year was a fairy tale. He took me to places I'd only seen in magazines. We had dinners where the wine cost more than my monthly rent. His world was beautiful, intoxicating, and completely terrifying. But Ryan made me feel like I belonged there, like I'd earned my seat at the table. I should have known better. His mother, Catherine, made her position clear the first time we met. Lunch at her club, she wore pearls that probably cost more than my car and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She asked about my family, where I went to school, what my father did for a living. Each question felt like a test I was failing. When I mentioned my dad drove a taxi, she actually flinched, just a little. But I saw it. After 2 years together, Ryan proposed. On a yacht, at sunset, with a ring that made my hand feel heavy. I said yes because I loved him. Because despite Catherine's cold shoulder and his friend's polite confusion about what he saw in me, Ryan made me feel valued. He said things like, "You ground me and you're real, not like the women I grew up with." I thought that was romantic. I didn't realize it was a category, a role I was playing. Then came the prenup. 3 weeks before the wedding, Catherine insisted. Ryan apologized but said it was just a formality, something to make my mother happy. His lawyer, Marcus, walked me through it in that patronizing voice lawyers use when they think you're too stupid to understand. The terms were brutal. If we divorced before 5 years, I got nothing. Nothing. Between 5 and 10 years, I'd get $500,000. After 10 years, $2 million. But here's the kicker. If Ryan cheated, the payment doubled. Marcus made a joke about it. Better keep him happy, right? He actually winked. I should have walked away. My sister Maya begged me not to sign. She drove in from Jersey the night before, sat at my kitchen table until 3 in the morning, and pleaded, "This isn't normal, Em. This is them saying you're not good enough, that you're a threat to their money." But I was 29 and in love and convinced that prenups were just what rich people did. I signed. The wedding was beautiful. Catherine made sure of that. She took over the planning, hired the best vendors, and turned our wedding into a display of Ashford wealth and taste. My family looked uncomfortable in their rented tuxedos. His family looked like they were attending a merger. On our wedding night, Ryan whispered, "We did it. You're officially an Ashford now." I didn't feel like an Ashford. I felt like an acquisition. The first 3 years were good. Better than good. We moved into a penthouse in Tribulation. I kept my social media business but worked from home, building campaigns for brands that could actually afford to pay me well now. Ryan's connections opened doors I didn't even know existed. I thought we were partners. I thought we were building something together. I was so focused on building our life that I missed what was breaking. Year 4, everything changed. Ryan started working late, coming home after midnight, taking business trips that seemed to multiply. He was distant, distracted. When I tried to talk about it, he said he was stressed. The fund was underperforming. The market was volatile. He needed space to think. I gave him space. I gave him everything he asked for. I was still trying to be the perfect wife, the grateful girl from Queens who'd won the lottery. I found out on a Tuesday. My business partner forwarded me a screenshot from a private Instagram account, Ryan, at a restaurant in Brooklyn, a place we'd talked about going to but never made it to. He wasn't alone. She was young, maybe 25, beautiful in that effortless way I'd never quite mastered, her hand on his arm, his eyes on her face, the kind of attention he used to give me. The caption was from her friend, "Finally met the mysterious boyfriend. He's older than I thought, but so generous." I sat on our $14,000 couch and stared at that photo for an hour. The mysterious boyfriend, not husband. She didn't even know he was married. Or maybe she did and chose to phrase it that way. I should have been crying, screaming, breaking things. Instead, I felt this weird calm, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. All those late nights, all that distance. It wasn't the market. It was her. I hired a private investigator. Cost me $8,000 I'd saved from a campaign I'd run for a luxury skincare brand. Money that was mine in my business account that Ryan didn't know about. Maya had told me years ago, after the prenup, always keep your own money. Money he doesn't know about. I'd started doing it quietly. A separate account, my maiden name. Small amounts that grew over time. It was like she'd known. Like she'd been preparing me for this moment. The investigator's report came back in a week. Her name was Bethany. She was 24, an aspiring actress waiting tables while going to auditions. Ryan had been seeing her for 7 months. He'd told her he was divorced, showed her apartments he was considering, took her shopping. There were photos, dozens of them, hotel lobbies, restaurants, his hand on her back, her wearing earrings I'd never seen. Earrings he'd probably bought her. But the investigator found something else, something interesting. Ryan had been pulling money, lots of money, from accounts I didn't even know existed, the hedge fund he managed, his personal investments. Over the past year, he'd moved almost $15 million into offshore accounts and weird LLC structures. When I asked the investigator what that meant, he said, it means he's planning something, usually divorce. Men do this. They move assets, hide them, then file. I confronted Ryan on a Friday night. He came home at 11. I was waiting in the living room with the photos spread across the coffee table like evidence at a crime scene. He froze in the doorway. For maybe 10 seconds, we just stared at each other. Then he sighed, like I was an inconvenience, like I'd caught him in something minor, not life-destroying. He didn't apologize. He said, Emma, this doesn't have to be messy. He sat down across from me like we were in a business meeting. I've been meaning to talk to you. This isn't working. We're different people. We want different things. I think it's time we ended this. Amicably. Amicably. The word made me want to laugh. You've been cheating on me for 7 months. You told her you were divorced. You've been lying to both of us. Bethany is irrelevant, he said. Actually said that. This is about us. We grew apart. It happens. The prenup says if you cheat, I get double the payout. Something changed in his face. A hardness I'd never seen before. You'd have to prove that. In court. With lawyers. It would take years, Emma. Cost you everything you have. And honestly? He leaned back, confident. Your word against mine. My lawyers against whoever you can afford. How do you think that plays out? He was right. That was the worst part. He was absolutely right. Marcus, the lawyer who'd written the prenup, was one of the best divorce attorneys in New York. I couldn't afford someone in his league. The investigation had already cost me $8,000. A court battle would cost hundreds of thousands. Money I didn't have. Ryan knew it. He was counting on it. I'll tell you what, he continued. I'll give you $1 million to walk away quietly. Right now. Sign a release, keep this out of the press, and you get $1 million. Tax-free. That's more than the prenup gives you at year 4. It's generous, Emma. It's me being kind. I thought about it. God help me, I actually thought about it. $1 million. More money than I'd ever imagined having. Enough to start over. Build my business into something real. Never have to think about Ryan or Catherine or this penthouse again. It was tempting. It was designed to be tempting. But then I remembered something. The investigator had said Ryan was hiding money. $15 million. And that was just what he could find. What if there was more? What if the prenup, the affair, the sudden divorce offer, all of it was part of a plan? Get me out cheap before I figured out what I was actually entitled to. I called my sister from the bathroom. It was 1 a.m. She answered on the first ring. I told her everything. Ryan's offer, the hidden money, my confusion. Maya was quiet for a long time. Then she said, Em, remember when Dad got screwed by that taxi company? How they had him sign paperwork he didn't understand. And it took him 5 years to figure out he'd signed away his pension? I remembered. Dad had trusted them, believed they had his best interest at heart. He didn't find out until he tried to retire that there was nothing there. The company had reorganized, shifted assets, left him with worthless stock instead of the pension he'd earned. "Don't be Dad," Maya said. "Get a lawyer, a real one, someone who works for you, not him, before you sign anything." I found Diane through a friend of a friend. She specialized in high net worth divorces. Her consultation fee was $500. I almost didn't pay it. That was half my secret savings depleted just to talk to someone, but I paid it. We met at a coffee shop in Brooklyn, nowhere near Manhattan, nowhere Ryan's people would see. Diane listened to everything, looked through the prenup, looked through the investigator's report. Then she smiled. Actually smiled. "Emma, this prenup is garbage." "What?" "It's unenforceable. You signed it 3 weeks before the wedding. Under duress, all the invitations were sent. The venue was paid for. Your family had bought plane tickets. You were coerced. Any decent lawyer could argue that in court." My heart started racing. "But Marcus is one of the best lawyers in New York. Marcus wrote a prenup designed to scare you, not one designed to hold up in court. There's a reason they're offering you $1 million. In New York, without a valid prenup, you're entitled to half of everything acquired during the marriage. If Ryan's fund grew, if he moved money around, if any of those assets can be traced back to the marriage period, you're entitled to half." "How much are we talking about?" Diane pulled out a calculator. "Conservative estimate based on what you've told me? The penthouse appreciated $3 million since you bought it. The fund probably grew $20 million if he's any good at his job. Retirement accounts, investments, the boat he bought last year. You're looking at $15 to $25 million. Maybe more if we can prove he was hiding assets. That's fraud. Judges don't like fraud." I felt dizzy. $25 million. Ryan was offering me $1 million to walk away from potentially $25 million. He wasn't being generous. He was trying to rob me. "But here's the problem," Diane continued. "This will be ugly. His family will fight. They'll drag your name through the mud. They'll make you out to be a gold digger who married him for money. They'll bring up every gift they ever gave you as evidence. It'll be in the press. Page 6 will have a field day. Your business might suffer. Your family will be harassed. It could take 2 years, maybe 3, and it'll cost you. My retainer is $50,000. $50,000. I had maybe $15,000 in my secret account. I started to tell her I couldn't afford her. But then she said, "However, there's another way, a better way." She leaned forward. "What if we let Ryan think he's winning? What if you take his $1 million offer, sign his release, walk away quietly, but before you do, you document everything, every asset, every account, every lie. And then, after the divorce is final, after he thinks he's safe, you come back with a lawsuit for fraud. Constructive fraud in inducing the divorce. You can prove he hid assets, lied about the marital estate, coerced you into a settlement under false pretenses. The court can void the entire settlement and give you what you were actually owed, plus damages, plus legal fees. Can you do that? It's risky. It's a long game. You'd have to be patient. You'd have to let him think he won. You'd have to take the $1 million and live on it while we build the case. Could take a year, maybe 2. But Emma?" She looked me dead in the eye. "Men like Ryan only respect power. Right now, he thinks you're powerless. Let him keep thinking that. Then hit him when he's not looking." I took the $1 million, signed Ryan's release, let his lawyers draft a quick, clean divorce. 6 weeks later, we were done, legally separated. Ryan looked relieved. Catherine looked triumphant. At the final settlement meeting, Marcus actually patted my shoulder. "You made the smart choice, Emma. This could have gotten ugly." I smiled, thanked him, took my check, and left. Ryan moved Bethany into the penthouse 2 weeks later. I saw it on Instagram. She posted a photo of the view with the caption, "New chapter." I liked the post, even commented, "Gorgeous view, enjoy it." Then I went to work. Diane had given me a list. Documents I needed, evidence I needed. I spent 6 months gathering everything. I contacted Ryan's former assistant, who'd quit suddenly 6 months before the divorce. Turned out Ryan had been inappropriate with her too. She had emails, lots of emails, including ones about moving money and preparing for the divorce dated 8 months before he'd even confronted me. proof that this had all been planned. I hired a forensic accountant. Cost me $70,000 of my million. But he found everything. The offshore accounts, the shell companies, the business investments that were actually personal assets hidden behind corporate structures. Ryan had moved $18 million, not 15, 18. And he'd done it deliberately, systematically, while telling me we were partners. The best part? The prenup Diane had called garbage? We had 3 different legal scholars review it. All agreed. Signed under duress. Unconscionable terms. The weird clause about cheating that seemed designed to be impossible to prove. The whole thing was designed to intimidate, not to hold up. Marcus had gambled that I'd be too scared or too poor to challenge it. But here's what Ryan didn't know. That social media business I'd built, it had exploded. During our marriage, I'd been conservative, careful, not wanting to outshine him. After the divorce, I went all in. I landed 3 major clients, then 5, then 10. By month 8 post-divorce, I was making $40,000 a month. By month 12, $70,000. I could afford the lawyers now. I could afford everything. I waited 14 months. Let Ryan relax. Let him think he'd gotten away with it. He and Bethany got engaged. She posted the ring. 4 carats, bigger than mine had been. I sent a gift, a crystal vase. The card said, "Congratulations, wishing you both everything you deserve." Then I filed. Constructive fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, intentional misrepresentation of the marital estate. I asked for $35 million, half of everything we'd actually accumulated, plus the $15 million he'd hidden, plus damages for the fraud, plus my legal fees. Ryan called me 48 hours after being served, first time we'd spoken in over a year. He was livid. "What the hell are you doing, Emma? We had a settlement. You signed a release." I signed a release based on fraudulent information. You lied about the assets. You hid $18 million. You planned the divorce while we were still married, and you were pretending everything was fine. That's fraud, Ryan, and fraud voids everything. You can't prove that. I can. I have emails from your assistant, bank records, the forensic accounting report showing exactly when and how you moved the money, testimony from the investigator, and 3 legal experts who'll testify the prenup was unconscionable. Want to go to trial? Because I do. I'd love to put Catherine on the stand. Ask her about how she pressured me to sign, put Marcus up there. Ask him why he wrote a prenup he knew wouldn't hold up. Put Bethany up there. Let her explain how you told her you were divorced when you were still married to me. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Then, what do you want? I want what I was entitled to. Half, $25 million, and you pay my legal fees, $200,000 so far, or we go to trial and I ask for $40 million plus punitive damages. Your choice. We settled for $27 million. Ryan paid my legal fees. The whole thing was sealed. No press, no public spectacle. Just a quiet transfer of assets and a new settlement agreement. This one, I had Diane review 6 times before signing. Bethany left him 3 months later. Turns out, when the money gets complicated, 24-year-old actresses lose interest. Ryan's fund took a hit when investors heard whispers about his divorce issues. Catherine stopped speaking to him for months. Last I heard, he was dating someone age-appropriate, a nice lawyer who has her own money. I bought a townhouse in Brooklyn. 3 stories. Garden in the back. Maya lives on the top floor. Her room has a skylight. We have dinner together twice a week. I expanded my business, hired a team. We're doing campaigns for Fortune 500 companies now. I'm not rich like the Ashfords. But I'm comfortable, stable, free. The other day, someone asked me if I regretted marrying Ryan. It's a fair question. 4 years of my life. So much pain, so much anger. But I don't regret it. That marriage taught me something important. It taught me what I'm worth. Not in dollars, though those helped, but in value, in self-respect, in knowing that quiet doesn't mean weak, and patience doesn't mean surrender. My grandmother used to say something that I never understood until all this was over. She'd say, "Mija, a woman should always have her own money, not because she doesn't trust her husband, because she needs to trust herself." I thought she was being cynical, bitter from her own bad marriage. But she wasn't bitter. She was wise. She knew that love is wonderful, but independence is essential. I tell that story now when women ask me for advice. Women in their 20s signing prenups they don't understand. Women whose partners control all the money. Women who think asking for their own account is somehow betraying the relationship. I tell them about Ryan, about the $1 million offer that was actually a theft, about how the system is designed to make you feel powerless so you'll accept less than you deserve. Some nights I still think about that moment in the lawyer's office, signing the divorce papers, taking the check, Ryan looking so satisfied, so certain he'd won. I remember the way Marcus smiled at me, condescending. Like I was a child who'd finally listened to the adults. I wanted to tell them right then, wanted to see the look on their faces when they realized I was 10 steps ahead. But Diane had taught me something valuable. Revenge isn't about the moment. It's about the long game. It's about being patient enough to win completely. 4 years ago, I walked into that charity gala as a girl from Queens, trying to prove she belonged in a world that would never fully accept her. Today, I know I don't need their acceptance. I built my own world, my own success, my own life. Not because I married well or knew the right people, because I fought for it, strategically, quietly, completely. And for the first time in 4 years, I laughed. Not because everything was perfect, but because I was finally, genuinely free. The kind of freedom that doesn't come from someone giving you permission. The kind you take for yourself. That's what they never tell you about fairy tales. The castle isn't the happy ending. The prince isn't the prize. The real victory is walking away with your dignity intact and your bank account full. Everything else is just glitter and smoke. I still see Catherine occasionally. At events I now attend as a peer, not a +1. Last month she was at a fundraiser I was actually hosting. She nodded at me, polite, cold. I smiled back. Warm. Genuine. Because I didn't need her approval anymore. I never had. I just needed to believe in my own worth enough to fight for it. Maya asks me sometimes if I'm angry, if I hate Ryan for what he did. Honestly, I don't. Hate requires energy I'd rather spend on building something good. Ryan taught me a lesson worth $27 million. He taught me that the world is full of people who will underestimate you, manipulate you, assume you're too naive or too scared to fight back. And those people? They make the best opponents because they never see you coming. I have a photo on my desk. It's from the wedding. Ryan and me, dancing. I look happy, young, hopeful. I keep it there not to remember what I lost, but to remember what I learned. That girl in the photo was brave enough to love, and strong enough to walk away, and smart enough to win. That's the real fairy tale. Not the glass slipper, not the castle. The moment you realize the power was inside you all along, you just had to be willing to use it.